The first thing my father-in-law did after his company went public was order my wife to divorce me. Divorce him. I'll find you someone rich. A struggling professor? He's not good enough for you. I must have been blind to allow this marriage. I smiled. He truly was blind. Last year, when his empire was crumbling under 30 million in debt, I was the anonymous buyer who quietly purchased every last note. If I hadn't stepped in when I did, he would have been bankrupt. On my phone screen, a voice message from my friend Chloe sat unplayed. I didn't need to. The preview text beneath it told the whole story. The click of a key turning in the lock echoed from the entryway. My wife, Scarlett, was home. She kicked off her heels, the motion sharp with fatigue. When her eyes met mine, all she offered was a drained me. She used to rush in, all warmth and lively stories. Now, only this solid silence remained. Have some tea first. I poured a cup and offered it to her. She glanced at it, her brow furrowing. Again? I've told you I don't take it sweet. My hand stalled in the air, the cup suddenly heavy. This used to be her favorite. She didn't look at me again, walking straight into the bedroom and slamming the door shut. That sharp thud left the house in utter silence. At the dinner table, we sat opposite each other, neither speaking. She picked at her food for a few bites, then suddenly put down her fork. Alex, we need to talk. I looked up, watching her quietly. I don't think we can keep going like this. Her gaze darted away, unwilling to meet mine. Our lives are drifting further and further apart. My dad's company. It's back on track now, even better than before. And you're still just a university professor, making peanuts every month. I put down my fork, saying nothing. She seemed to finally muster her courage, raising her eyes to meet mine. Alex, let's take a break. Let's both cool off for a while. A break? I looked at her resolute face and suddenly laughed. Okay. That single word choked all the elaborate explanations she'd prepared. She froze, seemingly surprised by my immediate agreement. I stood up, clearing the dishes as I always did. Scarlett, I said, my back to her, my voice flat. Don't regret it. The next day, I went to the university to teach as usual. During lunch break, Professor Miller sighed and went on about the insane housing market. Alex, you've got it easy. Single. No dependents. No worries. He patted my shoulder. Not like us family men. The pressure is real. I smiled, not responding. In their eyes, I, Alex Reed, came from an ordinary background, had a stable job, and married a beautiful wife whose family had recently gone bankrupt. I was the typical nice guy who took on someone else's baggage. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Scarlett. Saturday night, dinner at my parents' house. A commanding tone, cold words. I replied, okay, the ambush dinner was coming. On Saturday, I walked through the front door of Richard Hayes' mansion, carrying a couple of expensive bottles of wine. The mansion, once so quiet and empty, was now bustling with people again. Richard, my father-in-law, was dressed in a designer suit, beaming with confidence, talking loudly about business with several partners. When he saw me, the smile on his face faded, replaced by undisguised disdain in his eyes. You're here? Find a seat for yourself. He gestured towards the most secluded corner of the living room. In the main seating area, a young man I didn't recognize was sitting, dressed in head-to-toe designer brands, a Patek Philippe watch glittering on his wrist under the lights. Scarlett was sitting right beside him, smiling charmingly, deep in conversation. That was a Scarlett I'd never seen, a Scarlett from another world. Alex, Eleanor, my mother-in-law, handed me a glass of water, her tone distant. This is Eric Sterling, Mr. Sterling's son. He just came back from abroad, young and accomplished. I nodded, looking at the man named Eric. He was sizing me up too, his gaze like he was looking at a cheap knockoff. Oh, so this is Scarlett's husband? Alex Reed, right? Eric drew out his words, a faint, mocking smile playing on his lips. Teaching at the university, are we? Well, that must be quite the effort. He said effort, but his eyes were practically overflowing with contempt. Scarlett's expression was a little uncomfortable, but she didn't say a word in my defense. Dinner was served, a lavish spread of delicacies. Richard sat at the head of the table, full of vigor, raising his glass. To all my friends, thank you for sticking by me, Richard, during my most difficult times. He downed his drink, then his tone shifted, his gaze landing on me. Of course, I also want to thank some people who stuck by us, even when our family was struggling. He deliberately emphasized